DC3 here, about to get right into the video, showing you what the best cameras for beginners, intermediate, pro level videographers slash photographers. You know, we here at the one and only Best Buy, man. Let's get right into it. No BS, getting straight into the video. Starting off with entry level to beginner level cameras from the ranges of like $300 to no more than $1,500. And I'm gonna just be breaking down what's the best Sony cameras for the price, for the bang for the buck, over something like an iPhone or a Samsung phone. Let's get right into it. Just starting off with vlog cameras, small cameras like the Sony ZV series, all of these here. So for starters, we have the Sony ZV-1F. This is a great camera if you are tired of using your phone and use something a little more versatile, for instead of something using using something like a phone that kind of gets used for everything else, and it can kind of get confused for other things, phone calls and interruptions, stuff like that. This is the camera that you want. Got a nice flip out screen. It's not touchscreen if I'm not mistaken, but it's flip out. You can see yourself vlogging. This is a non-interchangeable lens, so you cannot change out this lens for nothing. It's built in, and it's not one of those crazy zoom lenses like you may think it is. It's more so of a fixed lens, so it's at one focal length, but you can use digital zoom to zoom in and crop into the image, but it is digital zoom. It's not optical zoom. As you can see here, this is optical, this is digital zoom, not optical. ZV-1F, pretty good overall. It comes in around like $549. You can find it for like $350, $400 used, but this is a decent one. I usually don't recommend this one because it's not much of a, it's not better than most iPhones or Samsung phones. All right, so on to the next one. This is where I will actually start off the list. This is the actual one where I would say this is actually considered an upgrade over a phone. You got the Sony ZV-1F. The Sony ZV-1. This is a way more complete actual vlogging camera, very compact. Same thing as the, basically the same size, same form factor as the Sony ZV-1F. The only big difference is you still get the flip out screen. If I'm not mistaken, this one actually is fully touchscreen, so you're able to touch and do all the controls that you want to do on that one. You get a slightly better mic. If I'm not mistaken, this mic allows you to catch the front, back, and side audio, or front and back. Very good, size form factor. The grip is pretty much still the same as the one on the ZV-1F. Just I think it's a little bit, tad bit bigger. Biggest differences between this one and this one is that now you have as you can see, you have a protruding lens that comes out. So if I'm not mistaken, on this one you get a 24-70 or 28-70 lens. You get a 24-70 2.8 on this one, if I'm not mistaken, versus that one was a fixed lens at like 24 millimeters. You couldn't, or 20 millimeters, so you can't zoom in and zoom out. This one is actually, you can zoom in and zoom out. This is actual optical zoom, so when you zoom in to a certain point, you're not losing quality. It's not becoming digital. It becomes sharp and good. And I think you also get active stabilization of this one, so you're able to get nice smooth shots. It's 20 megapixel camera, good for photo and video, travel, compact. This is a great option over a phone. This is a step up. These are for like if you are a person that want to get into like travel photography, or want to be compact and small with it and not really noticed, and not really too obnoxious with it. The ZV-1. This also starting if you want to just try something new, try something different, just to get you to you're not breaking the bank. You want to see if you like it, but I'll say you might as well just spend extra money and get this one instead. It's a beast. Alrighty, so that was more so of the 1-inch sensor section. Now we're gonna move into the APS-C section. So this is all still like beginner type of entry level. One of the best cameras right here in front of me, the Sony ZV-10 Mark I, the original one, coming in at $749. This is probably the most versatile, beginner-friendly camera you can get. It basically has the same body as a ZV-1 series, but this time you get the same flip-out screen, basically the same type of audio. You get a little more dials on the camera, a little bit more, it's a little more professional, things like that. And then finally, we're up to where you can change the lenses on your camera. So, for example, the camera like this, you can change it out and put, this takes Sony E mount, so you can use any of their, higher end higher end E mount glass. So, yeah, this also takes any type of G master glass, things like the 11mm 1.8, the 18 to 105, if I'm not mistaken, and the 24 to 70. All of that can go on this small little camera. It is a beast. You can go crazy with this camera. Basically, probably the most versatile beginner friendly camera, coming in at 24 megapixels, APS-C. You get 4K, 30 frames per second, 8-bit. That's the max it can record and everything. Great autofocus. It does have slightly overheating issues, but overall, it's a good, beginner vlogging camera. Even photography, you can definitely get away with this. This does not take flash though, and it doesn't have a built-in flash. That's the only gripe with it. So this is probably the best beginner, to actually roll with this camera. I'm saying the fact that you can change the lenses out and have it to where you can always upgrade it later on or however you want to do it. This camera will allow you to do that. That's the ZV-10. And then now we're coming to one of my favorite ones, recent times, you know what I'm saying? You got the Sony ZV-10 Mark II. Just like how they had the Mark I ZV-1 and the ZV-1 Mark II, they did the same thing with this. This came out, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken? This is a beast right here. We got a 26 megapixel APS-C camera, up to 4K, 60 frames per second, 10-bit 422, all in this small little body. This has the same sensor as a Sony FX30. Well, a very similar sensor as the FX30, because it doesn't reap all the benefits. So, if I'm not mistaken, you can't shoot in 4K 120 in this camera, but you can shoot in 1080p 120 if I'm not mistaken. But basically, just takes everything from the ZV-10 and basically unlocks all the features from it. Now you got 4K 60. The biggest thing with this one was they bumped it up to 10-bit. So now you got, and also you got a fully articulating screen. You have, if I'm not mistaken, you have the AI. You don't have the AI autofocus in this one, but you do have the that reframing and things like that. With this camera, you still have an overheating problem, honestly, but this is more so of a proper version of what this should have been. But this is like an entry-level version of what this is, this is still entry-level, but not on the same sense of this. Is it worth the upgrade from like $700? Well, it was $999 at one point, but I guess with this, that's just kind of crazy. Inflation is crazy. I would definitely recommend getting the ZV-10 Mark II over the ZV-10, because technically you can find this for like $600, and then this is like around $1,000, $1,100 price range. It is a big jump up. This is still a great option if you want to start out. I won't even lie. So yeah, ZV-10, great camera, 4K 10-bit, great autofocus, and just a good overall camera. Downside, it does still overheat. It doesn't have IBIS in it. It does have active stabilization, like the digital. And yeah, that's about it for that camera. Now, if you want to take things a little more seriously and you want to step it up, you learned all the basics of videography, you got your practice with it, and you feel like you want to take yours to the next level, we now introduced the Sony FX30. That price is crazy. This should only be $1,700 right now. We have the Sony FX30, all of its glory. Technically, the same sensor. Well, this has the same sensor as that. So, the ZV-10 Mark II took the sensor from the FX30, which sports a 26 megapixel CMOS sensor, APS-C sensor. You get 4K 10-bit, 4K 10-bit 422, all the way up to 4K 120 on this camera. The 4K 120 on this camera does have a slight crop of 1.6, if I'm not mistaken, on top of the already 1.5 crop that the APS-C lens has. So, once you put in a 4K 120, it technically is horrible because it crops in almost like a Super 16. And then on top of that, it's very noisy in 4K. 120. So 4K 60 is like where it maxes out at. Pretty good, very good camera. Me and my team, we use this camera all the time for productions. It's one of the best budget friendly hybrid video slash small compact cameras. Not really for photo, but this also does take photo. It's pretty useful in photo. It is single shot. It does have a mechanical shutter, so you're not able to use flash or nothing like that with it. You're not able to do certain things as far as like fast photography because it doesn't have an actual mechanical shutter, and it's digital. So the readout speed on this, when it comes to photos, is kind of bad because you're not gonna be able to freeze action as quick as for example, a camera with a actual real mechanical shutter in it. FX30 is pretty good overall. Mostly for video though, it's a beast. It's one of the best budget-friendly cameras. Especially if you pair with APS-C lenses, it's gonna give you great affordable options to invest in. Especially with Viltrox or Sigma, you can go something like the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4, the 35, and the 50 for like under 600, 700 bucks. You got Viltrox lenses, a whole bunch of different options with this camera because it's APS-C. Don't have to worry about full frame, even though you can't use full frame lenses on this camera, which is one of the reasons why it's so cool. So FX30 is great, and also this is the first camera on the list so far with dual SD card. So as you can see, we have dual SD cards right here. Yes, sir. Technically, it's more professional for recording. If you're recording a important client, you want to make sure you get redundant audio. I mean, redundant recording. You don't have no issues with as far as failure, nothing like that. And this camera help you make sure you're not hitting that threshold of being scared of not having redundant footage. So this is probably the tier. This will end off the tier of the APS-C slash entry level kind of cameras. We're gonna get into the next one. Alrighty, and then for the actual hybrid of this category, we have the Sony a6700. Honorable mentions, we have the 6400 and the 6100. These cameras, in my opinion, are obsolete, especially the 6100. 6400 is still pretty decent. This is technically, this is the Sony 6400. I mean, this is technically the Sony ZV-10, ZV-E10, technically. All the specs and everything. Technically it is, or it's like more so of a Sony A7 III, with crop sensor version, 4K. You get the 4K 30. The readout speed is horrible on this. You only get S-Log 2. The photos is decent. It's 26 megapixels or 24 megapixels. Not the sharpest. I mean, it is possible, but I wouldn't recommend this camera. Now we have the 6700, one of the best hybrid APS-C. Nah, I'll take it back. This is the best hybrid APS-C camera out right now. I'm gonna say that Sony has the offer, but I want to say that anybody has the offer. This camera right here is a beast. This camera is just, it's totally different. So with this camera, you got 26. This basically this is basically the same sensor as the Sony FX30. So same thing, 26 megapixel sensor, 4K, 10-bit, 422, up to 120 frames per second. You do get a slight crop on 120. I can't remember if this one. I think this one does have the 4K 120, and you get the same crop as you get on the FX30. The biggest difference between this and the FX30 and the ZV-10 Mark II is the fact that this actually has photo specs. So if I'm not mistaken, you can take up to 10 frames per second on this camera, so you can get fast moving subjects like on this camera versus the ZV-10, which only took 1 frame per second, and the Sony FX30 only took 1 frame per second. This camera is actually a beast. I definitely recommend. This is probably a camera I'm going to end up getting over any other camera just because of its size and form factor. Now the price coming in at $1,400 is not bad at all for this camera, given the fact that it's technically an FX30 without the fan and without the cinema type of body. And you can do like photo shoots with this. You can put a flash on this. This is a very interesting camera. Coming from an A7 IV, I ain't gonna lie, this camera is definitely one of the ones I kind of recommend. Damn, I ain't gonna lie, hold on. All right, so future check right here, man. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure you let me know I may have missed something. I may have missed a few APS-C cameras. I didn't mention the 6700 and all the other series. If y'all want to make a full frame version of this video from like beginner friendly all the way to like the highest extreme ones, let me know. This is a little bit type of different video. Want to switch it up this time. Went to Best Buy because, you know, that's my thing. I used to work there, so I'm pretty good and familiar with all the different cameras. Let me know if y'all want me to start doing more videos like this and get specific with certain videos or cameras. Let me know. I'm definitely down to shoot it. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. DC3, enjoy the video. Y'all be safe. See me in the next one.